All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me today, Sunday, 12/20, for the stimulus and unemployment Q&A. There are no questions from members yet, but Andy Sanchez, shoot, I just read where he said he's from. He wants me to shout him out. So shout out to Andy Sanchez. He's one of the top commenters on my channel. I don't see him in the chat yet, so he probably missed his shout out. You snooze, you lose. He said he set an alarm. I hope you're all doing well. The holiday sweater was a big hit. Heidi's probably seen me wear this in person at work. It's polar bears, it's not dogs. But it is really moth-eaten. Someone suggested that I donate it. It's also a vest. So it's like a vest with a turtleneck. So let's see here. We've got Joel that says hello, hello. Franklin says hi, hi. Latrice says good afternoon from Alabama. My boss's parents live in Alabama, so good morning. Heidi says hello. Blue-eyed female says hello from California. John Francis says hello. You got paid today. That is great. And so far my day is going great. My notifications are on and I don't know how to turn them off on my new computer. They were off and now they're on, so it may take a little while for me to figure that out. But those notifications are also set so that if something happens with the stimulus bill, it's going to pop up for me right there. So maybe something will happen while we're on today's live, because right now, nothing has passed. They're still negotiating. Apparently, whatever was causing them to be really stuck, they've moved past that now. And the people in Congress, what are they called? Not the interns. Anyway, the people that are writing the bill, they've been in the room with these senators and in the House when they've been doing their negotiations. So they're kind of updating it as things go along, but they haven't finished the draft and put it into one big bill yet. So that needs to happen before they vote on it. So yeah, I see 64 of you. And if I could please ask you guys to like the video, I would really appreciate it. And let's see, what other questions do we have? What's up? Not much. Hi, Diane. I am not ready for the show. I'm tired today. I hope that we get some help soon. Ben says the darkness is here. And he's referring to himself. Hello. We're not getting a stimulus check. We might. We still haven't seen the language of the bill. I do think that it is back in there for a $600 stimulus check, even if you're getting unemployment. Kay Gregorian says, I'll get my last PUA check after the 27th. So you'll be paid through the 26th. Yes, Rose, we should still be able to get a stimulus check. That was just something they were trying to do, but it hasn't made it into any of the updates that I have recently seen. Okay, you guys are typing fast now. Let's see here. Holly says, is it true that they're trying to make it so that yes. So that's what Rose was also asking. Some Republicans had suggested that it would be double dipping for people to collect unemployment that should come with a boost and get a $600 stimulus check. But I mentioned it in one of my videos, logistically, that would have been so hard to figure out. This person with the social security number is getting unemployment. This person isn't. And so all the latest versions that I've seen do not have that requirement. So we should, even if we're on unemployment, we should be able to get a stimulus check as well for $600. But again, we're still waiting on the final language, and I don't want to pretend that I know for sure until that bill is actually out, Okay. Brian says my account is on 0. With my extension, what happens now? So is that the PEUC extension or is that the Fed Ed extension? So the next thing is to find out if you qualify for Fed Ed. Good morning, Leah. Thank you, Joe. John Francis says it's about time. They've been acting like a baby. They sure have. Cynthia says, oh, thank you. She's just said, thanks for the great videos. Carla says, if it passes, will it take a while for us to get PUA? There are concerns about that, and there have been several articles written that say it's going to take about 3 to 4 weeks to get our computer systems updated and programmed. So it's not just like they have to change the end date. Keep in mind, like my weekly benefit amount is different than Heidi's weekly benefit amount. We all have different weekly benefit amounts. So that means that for each individual, they have to change our claim balance. And that's the part that's going to take a while. And so it could take a while to get on these programs, even once they finalize the bill. I don't want to scare anybody. I just want you guys to be prepared in case it doesn't go smoothly. I'm hearing a start date of December 27th for a start date of the unemployment extensions if it passes. So, you should be able to retroactively certify once they get their act together and get things set up. Okay. I love it here. Thank you. You're welcome. What comes after the extension? So the order of the extensions you get, if you get PUA, that's it. There's not really an extension after that unless Congress votes to extend it, which we expect to see a vote on that today. I do want to mention that right now they're only talking about, I've heard 11 weeks is the most recent, and I have heard as few as 10 additional weeks, and that would be starting December 27th is what I've heard. So for PUA, it's just PUA the whole way through. If you started on regular unemployment, you get unemployment, then you get PEUC, then you see if you qualify for Fed Ed or EB. So that's kind of the flow of everything. Sorry, I lost my place. Rashawn says, are they withholding the stimulus from those on unemployment? That I haven't seen that recently. I've just seen that Republicans wanted to do that, but I don't think that actually has made it into whatever they're going to look at today. But I haven't seen that, so I don't know for sure. But I can't imagine that the Democrats would have agreed to that. Plus, it would just be logistically too hard to figure out and get rolled out. So I don't think that made it in there. They were talking about it. Mario, Carolyn says hi. Mario says, do you think it will be retroactive? No, nothing is talking about it being retroactive. So basically it would kick in on December 27th, right when all these other programs expire on December 26th. Aw, thank you, Karina, for saying I look great. Andy, I shouted you out. I hope you heard. I was watching Clear Value Tax and he's in Chicago. He said that we won't see anything till tonight. It's going to be really late tonight is what they're saying, and possibly tomorrow. Imagine that. So yeah, CR stands for continued resolutions, and that's where they talk about keeping the government funded and avoiding the shutdown. And they're saying they might have to pass another extension on the CR just so that they can get this bill all finalized and then into our hands. David says, I have the same question. My account for PUA is 0. What happens now? So that probably means you backdated your claim all the way back to February 2nd when the program began. That means that you're already out of the 46 weeks of benefits. So that means we're waiting on this bill to pass in Congress to see how many more weeks you could get. Angel says, my last week of UIEDD is on the 27th. So is that on the PEUC extension? If so, then they would see if you qualified for Fed Ed. Andrew says, today I took my sporty little Lexus out for a drive to help ease my stress. Went to the beach and took a walk. How have you been dealing with stress? What do you do? Drive? Hope we get a stimulus. Honestly, thank you for asking that. I just want to say that I really appreciate you guys. It has brought me I'm going to get all teary because it's the holiday. I don't know, because I'm a crier. I really enjoy being able to help all of you. I really appreciate you guys. I know I made a video about like a grant that was available to movie theater employees. And I've made grants for restaurant employees and for the LADWP, which is a utility company. And some people are like, oh, well, that's really specific. Why are you making that? If I help one person get more money in their hands, like that makes me happy. And it reduces my stress. I was super stressed though last night, hoping to see the final bill, and I couldn't sleep. And that's why I'm tired. So I think I'll have a sip of coffee. I'm trying to walk more. I put on some weight during quarantine. I'm not very happy about that. I need to get out and exercise, but like I'm nervous. Like I want to go to the beach, but I went once and it was crowded. Like it's crazy. But you guys, yeah, find a way to release the stress and like take your mind off things. For me, it's helping you guys. Michael says, I went from regular unemployment to PUA automatically. My PUA just ran out. What's next? We're waiting on Congress because if you were on regular unemployment and you went to PUA, that means that you didn't qualify for Fed Ed. So now we're hopefully waiting for them to extend something when we see the language in this bill. Ben says stimulus is a joke of a check. Indeed, but it's better than nothing at this point. At this point, I do want to just see something. YAZ says my Fed Ed expired a month ago. Any word on that? No. So you should try and apply for a new claim. See if you can apply, if you have enough benefits for a new claim. Just try it. It's not going to hurt to try. Robin says, do we have to reapply if we still have money in our unemployment account? So that's the part that I'm really waiting to see. I don't know for sure, so I don't want to say. This is what I think will happen. I think they're just going to extend your current claim. Now that's different from Fed Ed because Fed Ed would be out of your benefit year. But PUA, if you were originally PUA, you're going to see an end date of 12/31 on your claim. And that's not a full year from when benefits first became available. So I think that they'll just extend it. I don't think you'll have to open anything new, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So we're going to have to wait and see. John says, are we going to get a $300 boost every week? Oh, something's falling over here. Stop that. Sorry. It's going to be loud noise if that falls. Yes, that's what they're currently talking about, but I've heard as few as 10 weeks now, 11 weeks. First, it was going to be, I think first they were talking about 18 weeks. Then they went down to talking about 16 weeks. Then it was 12 to 13 weeks. And now I'm hearing like 10 to 11 weeks. So that's one of the big things we're waiting on that language for. But yes, the $300 boost would be on top of your weekly benefit amount for however many weeks Congress has that last. And now seems like a good time to ask everybody to please like the video if you haven't already. Okay, Fabian says, will people that get less than $100 in unemployment get the extra $300? That's again something that the Republicans were saying that they wanted. Something's falling again. I'm just going to take it down. Sorry. Ugh. It's my vision board. And I bought this couch. Well, not that exact couch. And I hate it. I wanted a Tesla. I wanted to get better at yoga. I wanted to see the northern lights, which you can do online. And I wanted the beach, and I wanted silver hair, which I had for a little bit in some of my YouTube videos. Threw my dreams away over there. Sorry, guys. It's the lack of sleep. So the less than $100 a week in unemployment benefits, will you get the boost? We don't know yet. That is something that the Republicans were saying they wanted to do, was not give it to people that made less than $100 a week as a base weekly benefit amount. I believe the Democrats were trying to block that, but we haven't seen the language in the final bill, so I don't know how it's going to play out in the end. Diane says, what are the odds PUA will get extended? I think that it will 100% get extended. I just don't know if there will be gaps in receiving payments while they get it all set up because they've waited so long now. Again, they're going to have to recalculate everybody's claim balance based on their own individual weekly benefit amounts. And so I absolutely think it will get extended. It's just a matter of how many weeks at this point. Rose again says, will our PEUC continue after the 26th when the bill is signed? So it should, but there may be gaps in when we get it while our unemployment offices set that up. YZ says, any worried about the Fed Ed? Mine expired in, I think that's supposed to say any word about the Fed Ed, mine expired in November. So see if you can apply for a new claim, if you can totally open a new claim. Rose, it will probably be delayed. Any talk on retroactive FPUC? No, so that's the boost, the FPUC. It was the $600 boost. Now they're talking about $300 boost, and there's zero talk of that being retroactive. I think I've given up hope on that, unfortunately. Okay, wait, we got to read this. Oh no. Nope, it just says, want to bet Bernie grandstands, which means like Bernie Sanders could possibly get on the floor and talk a long time and disagree and all that. So I hope he doesn't do that, but it looks like there might be some movement. Wouldn't that be fun if that broke while we were doing this live? I would be pretty excited. I could have my video out before Clear Value Jacks or Meet Kevin or Dr. Nitin Chanda. He's actually a friend of mine. I like him. Okay, let's see. Well, like a YouTube friend that I've never met. met, but we became friends while we were doing this. Okay. Vanessa says PEUC is supposed to be another 16 weeks, making it a total of 29 weeks, or just 3 more weeks for all of us on it now. So they're looking at 10 to 11 weeks. So they're looking at adding, and it could still go up to 13, I suppose, but I'm not hearing that. Even Meet Kevin reported yesterday, his sources are pretty good, that it could be as few as 10 weeks. And I had seen that in a tweet earlier this week, and then someone was like, no, it's 13. But there's been that's one of the things that I am worried about. I'm more worried about it only lasting 10 weeks than I am about them not giving stimulus checks to those of us on unemployment and not giving it to people who make less than $100 a week in benefits. Okay. So yeah, 10 to 13 weeks, I'm going to say, is about how many weeks of PEUC they would add. David says, we'll get a stimulus check of $600 according to another channel, but they haven't seen it yet, so they could have changed it, but more than likely they're going with the $600. Yes, that's correct. The part about it being more than likely, because none of us have seen the bill yet. Andy says, what sucks is that I got my first stimulus check through direct deposit, and no, I don't even have that bank. How do they make sure I get that money? I don't know, Andy. I don't know. I will Google that, though. Not right now, but after. You're on the channel all the time, so remind me. Lewis says, I got my last EDD check today. Will I get more extension? It expires March 2021. So for you, and this is Louis A, because there's a question from another Louis I right after this. So potentially you'll find out if you qualify for Fed Ed if they don't extend the PEUC extension later today. So yes, there will potentially be more extensions for you, even if something didn't pass today. And then Louis I says, will people on unemployment get paid for week? I think that's supposed to say 1 week on the 26th. So that depends. If you're somebody who backdated your claim all the way to February 2nd of 2020, your last week to get benefits was actually yesterday and then certifying today. So if you've already used 46 weeks under PUA, you won't get that last week. Otherwise, and maybe you're asking, will they only let me certify for 1 week, and will that week be next week? We don't know yet if they'll let you certify for just that 1 week next week, or if they'll make you wait the full 2 weeks and then only pay you for 1 week. So I haven't seen that yet, so I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. I will say that as long as you haven't used all 46 weeks of PUA benefits yet, that you will get paid that week. It's just unclear to me if it'll be next week or if you'll have to wait 2 weeks to get 1 week of payments. I hope that made sense. Doug, will everyone qualify for the extra 11 weeks of PEUC? Yeah, they should. There shouldn't be any requirements or anything for that, but we're going to have to wait and see the bill. Andrew says, I'm awesome. I will try and stay awesome. I feel extra awesome in this sweater. Someone said not to just throw it in the trash, to donate it. And it does provide a little extra warmth. So I will probably go ahead and donate this sweater. Or maybe I'll just keep it and wear it since it's holy, since I just wear a turtleneck under it. Anyway, I really like this sweater. Okay. It gives me a little bit of joy. Putting on this dorky sweater makes me a little bit happy with everything that's going on, which is not happy. John Francis says it's hard for us to get the $600 boost while they build out the rich on Wall Street. I agree. And I'm going to say this. I would like to see all of us get rich. I know that that's probably so far from everyone's mind right now, but I would really like to see, after this is over and we have a little bit of breathing room, and start investing $5 a month. It doesn't matter. I want all of us. I don't want us to forget where we came from. I don't want to ever make people feel the way we feel right now, but I would like to see us all in a position where we just don't have to worry about the roof over our head. That's really my goal. And that's, I hope you guys don't think poorly of me because I'm always recommending Webull. It's really because I want to see us all get ahead. My biggest goal for wanting to become a millionaire is my mom has really bad healthcare. She's very, 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 very broke. And I would like to be able to just give her the best of everything that I possibly can, especially in terms of healthcare. she doesn't have good doctors, and it's, state benefits, so you get what they give you. She's diabetic and has trouble with like regulating her blood sugar, and she's allergic to almost everything. She's one of the people that won't be able to take the vaccine even when it's ready because she's too allergic. Okay. Get it together, Shelly. Answer unemployment and stimulus questions. Oh, dropping more things like Kleenex. Okay. Student loan relief getting delayed is supposed to be in the bill. Whatever, guys. I'm a crier. I don't care. It's the holidays, and it's sad because they're jerking us around. Okay. Gonzo Hazel says, good morning. Carla says, Ben says, PEUC will be a mess because they will need to put people back on PEUC who just got Fed Ed. Is this how it will play out? That's what I was thinking. And that's another thing that in addition to adjusting our claim balance, it's just going to cause everything to be a mess. So if you're already on Fed Ed or you're about to go on Fed Ed next week or the week after, and they're still in the process of updating their computer systems, just judging by how everything else has gone by the EDD, I don't know this, but I have zero confidence based on their past performance with things like ID verification and income verification that it's going to go smoothly. So that does concern me. So basically Ben is saying, and this was what I was thinking too, but I have two thoughts. So if you're already on Fed Ed or you're about to go on Fed Ed before they approve these extensions, they would need to either switch you back to PEUC and give you, I guess it's not starting until the 27th. So it would only apply if like they had given you weeks of Fed Ed from the 27th because nothing's going retroactive. So maybe they wouldn't give you back weeks of Fed Ed that you would already lose. And I guess that's the or. Like maybe they would just stop giving you Fed Ed weeks, put you back on PEUC, and then once those weeks run out, you would not have the full, 13 weeks it is now of Fed Ed. They would deduct however many weeks you had already used of Fed Ed. Like, I don't even know. All I know is that if it seems complicated to me, and I love math and like fitting those pieces together, if it's complicated to me, it's going to be even more complicated for the EDD. And that is going to cause, I think, some delays. That's one of the reasons why I think it's going to take a little bit longer to get our benefits. So yeah, student loan relief, I am hearing that they're going to extend that. Anthony says, I received my amended claim and my benefits went from 400 to 450. That's great. Can I claim retroactive for the 50 for 39 weeks? I would certainly try, Anthony, and I would love it. That would make me happy if you got that. So call them and ask them, say, hey, they just recalculated and I am owed that for all these prior weeks. Gustavo says, happy Sunday. What the heck did my computer just do? I still don't, okay, don't do that. Whatever. I'm having issues. Gustavo says, happy Sunday. Thank you. I lost all employment 11/29 this year. Do you think I'll be able to get back on retroactively? I lost my job October in 2019. So first of all, I'm very sorry. Try excuse me. For you, I would try and open a new claim and see if that works out. You may actually have some money. Don't wait if you're going to try and open a new claim, though. And yes, if they added an extension, I think that you would be eligible for more weeks, but you might need an active claim. Call the EDD and see what they recommend on that. John Francis said, this is the worst government we have in modern history. I don't love government in general. I think, I try and be kind of neutral. I definitely have my own opinions, and I'm sure that they show through. But I want to be respectful of everybody. As a fellow American, that should be what we're encouraging. Being respectful of other people's viewpoints and talking together in a civil manner. I don't know if they're the worst. Nobody could have predicted this. This is a bad situation all the way around. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I don't know what the solution is. I think that they're trying their best, even though I'm like, the Republicans don't want people who have less than $100 in benefits to get it. The Republicans don't want people to double dip, which sounds really awful. What I've heard in defense of the Republicans is that they're looking out for the long-term deficit. this money that they're printing, and some of the other YouTubers call it burr, burr, burr. The machine just spits out money, burr. That is going to have to be paid for at some point by like our grandkids or whatever. But whenever I say that, people point out to me that, like, you know, where we're really giving the tax breaks is to corporations. And if we just stopped doing that, there would be plenty of money for all these programs. And then I think, yeah, that's true. But it's not an easy solution that they're facing. The pandemic, like, who would have guessed? But I did a news interview, you guys, and I'll link that in like a post or something. When this all first started, we thought we'd be closed for 2 weeks, literally 2 weeks. We were furloughed, I want to say March 15th. And our letter said, oh, you know, we'll keep you posted on April 1st. Big April fools on us because we're still closed. Okay, rambling. I'm sorry. I appreciate all of you for listening to my rambling. Please like the video while I figure out where we are on the questions. Okay, Jason says, if you're collecting PUA with a balance of 1,000, what happens after 12/26? So as of right now, they still haven't voted. So as of right now, you wouldn't have access to that funds. And I kind of actually, this kind of ties back into what Ben was saying about, are there going to be problems? I kind of think that they will let that balance to go down to 0. And then they'll just reload it with 10, 11, 12, 13 weeks, however many more weeks they extend. That to me would make the most sense, to put that down to 0 for everyone after that, and then just reload it with a fresh set of weeks. That seems like it'd be easiest to me. Or they'll add it to your claim balance. And then again, once we're at the end of those 10, 11, 12 weeks, then you wouldn't have access to that $1,000. Andy, I'm on 20 weeks. I called and checked. My money hasn't changed. Thank God. That is good. Andy, you said 20 weeks. Do you mean Fed Ed? Because that got bumped down to 13 weeks and they're going to be readjusting people after the 26th. Holly says, I got kicked off my EB UI in October because I live in Missouri and apparently we dropped below 6%. Guys, that's another thing. Like, we've had a lot of problems with unemployment here in California, but you know, we've had somebody on this chat from Alabama. We've got somebody from Missouri. Nobody's dealing with it well. And in some ways in California, we're lucky. I mean, I don't want to call it lucky that our unemployment rate is still this high, but there's no path for them after this extension ends. When they were out, they were out. And Florida only gives you 12 weeks of unemployment benefits to start with. So people, and they're not giving out extended benefits in Florida. So people who are unemployed in Florida with regular claims, they got 12 weeks plus 13 weeks of PEUC, and they've been out. After that, that's what, 25 weeks of unemployment benefits. And after that, they were out. Like, that's crazy to me. So I'm really sorry, Holly. Hopefully once there's an extension, you will be able to get that. Blessed Yesenia says, what's going to happen with the balance left if it ends on the 26th? I still have a balance of 1,000. So we just answered that in in Jason's question, but it's the same. So it'll either go down to 0 and kind of reset so that then they can reload you with however many weeks they decide on, but you won't really have access to that money after the 26th because that's when the whole program expires right now. Good morning, Sean. Update on stimulus. They may not give it to adult dependents and shorten it to 11 weeks, plus may extend voting till Monday. Yeah, plus no retro. Yeah, retro's been out of the picture for a long time. I did hear that about not giving it to adult dependents. That was how it worked before with the $1,200 stimulus checks. I think they're just, for the ease of everything, they're just going to give it to everybody who got it before. And yeah, Sean, I've actually heard as few as 10 weeks, so we don't know. That's one of the things we're still waiting to see. My Ming, I did not say your name right. I'm sorry. Good morning. Are there any changes to Fed Ed weeks covered after PEUC? It's 13 weeks here in California. And it might not kick in if they extend extra weeks of PEUC. So in a sense, it would be extended in that we would get more PEUC potentially before we get put onto Fed Ed. Adam says, should I reapply for regular unemployment in 2021 since it's a new benefit year, or stay on PUA? Call the EDD and see what they recommend. It's my understanding that if your benefit year is over, you're still going to need to open a new claim. But some of these extensions will now take us past a year, so I'm not quite sure how that's going to actually work. Shoot, I lost my place on my questions. Sorry. Uh-oh. Okay, I'm way behind again. Sorry. Uh-oh. I'm so sorry. I lost my place. Give me a second. I'm really far behind on these questions. Maybe we'll go a little bit longer today. I don't know. Shoot. Okay. Found my place. Sure. Okay. Vanessa says PEUC, won't they need to put us back on PEUC if we just gone on Fed Ed? Yes, that's what I think would happen. Or like kind of stop PEUC and then put us on Fed Ed. Hang on. Oh, this is not good. So this is one of my sources. She's got 20 Twitter feeds open, and I have the Apple Watch. I bought it before I was unemployed, and it's not the fancy one with cellular or whatever. It's just the regular $100 one. Doubts grow over whether Senate can finish voting on the COVID-19 omnibus tonight as the clock ticks. Senator Lankford tells me he wants time to read the bill before being rushed to vote on it. Any one senator can delay votes today. All right, whose senator is Lankford? Because they are on my naughty list. Senator Lankford's holding it up. Let's see if Siri... What happens to my computer if I ask Siri? Hey, Siri, who's Senator Lankford? He's a jerk. That's who he is.
Here's what I found.
Whose senator is this? Oklahoma. Good old Oklahoma. They're on my naughty list. All right. So Oklahoma may be holding it up. Senator Lankford, if you're in Oklahoma or you have friends in Oklahoma, call Senator Lankford's office and tell him to pass this dang bill today. I'm tired of waiting. I want to go to sleep well tonight, knowing one way or the other what's going on. All right. Sorry. I hope you guys appreciate me check. You guys want to know that, right? It's okay that I checked that. I'm checking that for you guys, but I feel rude checking my watch while I'm on the chat with you guys. Okay. So yeah, Vanessa, we're waiting to see how that works. Mike says, my Fed Ed is about to start. What happens if there's a 16-week extension on this new bill? Will Fed Ed be postponed? We're waiting to see. I think it's going to be a logistical nightmare for them to program. So expect some delays, and some of Politico was the news article that I was reading. They're estimating between 3 and 7 weeks for this to get set up. So that could be between 3 and 7 weeks where we go without receiving benefits. And I don't know how they're going to work that extension, but based on their ability to handle ID verification and income verification, it's not quick. So I don't want to scare you guys. I just want you guys to be prepared. Call your creditors, call your landlords, let them know what's going on. Communication is always best. See if they'll work with you. Rose, will it be retroactive 300 if it starts on January 1st? So I'm actually not hearing a January 1st start date. They've realized, thank goodness, because I've made some videos and I'm like, the EDD can't calculate it if it's a partial week. January 1st is the middle of the week. I think that they have figured out that it needs to start December 27th. So that's good. None of this we can't pay you for a partial week. Okay. Nick, what if I exhausted Fed Ed? Will I get the PEUC additional time? You should, but please call the EDD, because if you've exhausted all of your weeks of Fed Ed, that probably means your benefit year is ended. And I'm not sure if you need to open a new claim or not, but you might need to. Carla says, thank you. You guys are all awesome. I appreciate you. Please like the video. There's 319 of you. That's a record in this chat. Thank you guys for listening to me. I appreciate all of you. I hope you have a safe and wonderful holiday. I'm not wrapping up. I just wanted to thank you guys in the middle. Gustavo says, happy Sunday. Thank you. I lost all employment. Do you think I'll be able to? Okay. So we answered that. Call them and see if you qualify for a new claim, Gustavo. And guys, the best thing to do if I miss a question is to just ask it again, but try not to ask the question more than 2-3 times max, because then I repeat it and I don't get to all the questions. And you guys know I ramble, so I have trouble getting all the questions anyway. David says, they said PUA will not start till January 1st. Whether we have to open a new claim, don't know. Did they say January 1st? Because it can't actually, David, I trust you, but I want you to be wrong, because that's a partial week. So at least here in California, they start the new week Sunday through Saturday. So if they start it January 1st, that would really mean a start date of January 3rd. So I hope that that's not correct. I hope they start at December 27th. I had been hearing December 27th. You're scaring me. All right, Vanessa says, my car was repossessed and I will move in with my mom in January, man. Okay, Vanessa, I commented, you're not a loser. I don't know how old you are, but I bet, I'm sure you don't want to live with your mom. I don't really want to live with my mom, but I bet your mom will love having you there. And I'm going to cry again. And the older you get, the more you're going to value that time with her. And I think everything that's happening is super terrible, but I do kind of think everything happens for a reason. You're not a loser. You are lucky to have a mom that loves you and will let you move it back in with her, and just value that time. Don't look at it as you're a loser. You're not. You are finding a way to claw your way through this, and it's a bad situation, and you're very, very lucky and a good daughter, I'm sure. So value the time with your mom. You guys do what you need to do to make it through this, please. And you're not a loser. Don't say that about yourselves. Oh my God, guys, what is wrong with me? Okay. It's sad. It's sad. But not a loser. Okay, have they voted? JJ said, have they voted yet? No, and my good friend Janet on one of my message boards, she's got 20 Twitter feeds open, and now that Oklahoma senator's saying that he wants to read the bill. I mean, okay, I shouldn't say that. Like, all the senators should want to read the bill and know what's in it. Like, that's actually a good thing. They always tell you not to rush through a contract and sign it without knowing what you're signing. So in some ways that's good, but it just holds everything up. Okay. Mass evictions in January. I hope not. They should have a vote passed before then, but I have heard that either the eviction ban or rental assistance, but not both. But that's something that we don't know about. So I will try and update you guys, because I think sometimes with rental assistance, there's like X number of dollars for those programs. And once those are gone, those are gone. And you have to jump through hoops to get them. So be on the lookout for that, because if it's rental assistance, get on it right away. Rose, thank you for saying I look good. Adam, would you be able to apply for a regular claim since a new benefit year? Yes, potentially, but you might not have enough earnings to qualify, but that's still the path, at least as of right now, when your benefit year is over, to apply for a new claim and see if you have enough to qualify. Lex says, good morning. My claim balance reached 0 as of today. I got $260 weekly because I was working on call at the time. Will I qualify for an extension? You should. Yes. If Congress votes to pass it, yes. If you're talking about the Fed Ed extension, I don't know. You need to make more than 40 times $260 in your whole 12-month base period. And if your extension just ended right now, that means that you applied when I applied, which would be in March, which means that the base period they used was September of 2018. No, sorry, October of 2018 through September of 2019. So in all those 12 months, 260 times 40, did you make more than $10,400? If you did, then you will qualify for Fed Ed. Okay. Ben says, Monday, another extension of CR. I bet it on my life. Well, seems like it, because yep, my friend has already called, and I know that I'm behind on these comments, and yep, she's saying that good old Oklahoma is gonna hold us up for another day while he reads it. Okay, Anthony says, I never received, I'm going to skip Gustavo's question because he's asked it a bunch of times. Hopefully he's been on while I've answered. Anthony says, I never reached the letter actually saying that I qualified for Fed Ed, but they did put $6,185 into my claim, and I certified this week. Okay, well, we're going to ignore the part about you not getting the letter. That sucks, but I'm really glad that you got paid. Todd says, will PUA automatically be extended for me, or do I have to do it? We don't know yet. It should be automatically extended for you. I'm assuming you mean if the bill gets passed, but we haven't seen it yet. I would think they'll do it automatic, but I wouldn't think that they'll do it successfully automatically. AM says, are we getting EB? So EB is what other states call their Fed Ed program. So we don't know, and I don't know your individual situation, so I'm not sure if you're getting EB. They have not voted on any of that yet. Walk for stress, good. Yes, and I need to walk because guys, I've put on a lot of weight. Okay, JJ gave me some green hearts. Gustavo's question again. Lex says, you're so sweet. Thank you. Gustavo said, okay, Gustavo got his answer. I'm thinking since he's telling me I'm awesome. 2069 says, thanks for taking the time. You guys are welcome. My PUA, Jim, my PUA was exhausted last week. Will the extension add money so I can file again? I don't think you're going to need to file again. I don't know that for sure yet, though. So yes, it should just add money. Heidi. Oh, let's talk about this for a second. I might make a video on this. I started this for my employees. I know you guys probably know this, but this is now the third call this week. If you got unemployed the exact same week I did, which was the week March 15th, March 13th, I think it was the week starting March 13th. Sorry, because my coworker is texting me. You should just be on the chat. March 15th was the first week we were eligible for benefits. We are out of our PEUC actually the week before the 19th. So the week ending December 12th. So we certified today, but we only got 1 week. That was the last week of our 13-week extension on PEUC. So a lot of you probably certified today. A lot of you are on the same schedule because the pandemic hit at the same time. So a lot of you, when you certified, may have only been able to certify for 1 week, and that's going to be because you've used all 13 weeks of your PEUC extension already. So you weren't able to certify for the second week because there isn't a 14th week of PEUC. So our next steps are either seeing if we qualify for Fed Ed or waiting for Congress to extend the PEUC benefits. Now, if it's PEUC, I think they're going to put us on Fed Ed because we shouldn't be losing a week. So we're probably going to get switched on to Fed Ed for like a week or two, and then they're going to switch us back to Fed Ed. But that's why, and Heidi, I don't know if you were wondering that and had that same question. You didn't text me about it. Frank did. Frank's another manager. I shouldn't name it. He'd be so mad. Don't tell him, Heidi. Or Alonda. If you guys are on, do not tell Frank that I just named him. His name is, I like to call him Frinkle Stink. That's his nickname. Would really hate that. I also call him my baby brother. So yeah, that's what happened with PEUC if you only had 1 week to certify today. So yeah, Jim, I don't think you're going to need to file again. I think they're just going to add weeks, but we don't know. I hope it's not a whole new claim. Todd says he's in New York. I didn't see a question from Todd, but hi, Todd from New York. Clifford says, do you believe they are serious about passing a bill? I do. I think that they know, and people have already said that they're going to riot if they don't. They're going to pass a bill. There is a little bit of, politics in this. Everybody's waiting on that runoff election January 5th in Georgia, and the Republicans don't want to seem like they're caving because then they think it'll give the Democrats an edge, and the Democrats don't want to seem like they're caving because then they think it'll give the Republicans an edge. I do think something will pass before Christmas. But then I don't think we're going to see those benefits necessarily quickly. But I think they're serious about it. I think they know. And just so you guys know, I sent emails to both Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi this week, and I said, I don't get it. I don't understand why you won't sign something. Please help me understand what the holdup is, because we need money. So I spent some of my time this week doing that. Carolyn says, it's so crazy. They have literally took so long to help Americans. We pay taxes and yet businesses get relief before us. Exactly. Thank you, Alex. Gustavo says, keep that head up. Thank you. Adam says, could people reapply for regular unemployment since the new benefit year? Potentially, but call them to double check because I think that is going to get messy again with some of these extensions. Rose says she takes Xanax. Don't do anything illegal, but man, there's an aftermarket for that. And good on you if you've still, that stuff's prescriptions are expensive. But I'm glad that you have a way to relax. Blue-eyed female says it's okay, Shelly. I'm a crier too. Thank you. And I'm totally joking. Don't sell prescriptions. Let's see here. I just thought I would clarify that. Holly says, thank you for always keeping us informed. Thank you. I love this sweater too. Mine, gotta donate it though, maybe. I deal with stress by lining up some ganja. You gotta do what you gotta do. That stuff makes me paranoid. It makes my eyes like really red and itchy. I can't do that. My roommate is a big fan, a real big fan. It's, it's doctor prescribed. Okay. Gustavo says, me too. So much food. Evelyn says, hi, Shelly. Happy Sunday. I'm on FedEd, but my claim ends on January 5th. I still have a few weeks left. What do I do once my claim ends? What happens when the bill passes? We're going to kind of have to wait and see because I'm not sure if you'll need to open a new claim or if they'll add those weeks onto your claim. I kind of think that they will just add the weeks onto the claim, but I don't know for sure. Claude Avernus says, do I need to make $100 to qualify for the 300? I don't know yet. That is something they were talking about, is not giving it to people who made less than 100, but we haven't seen the final language in that bill yet. I haven't heard anything recently about that, which is a good sign, and I know that the Democrats were fighting that. Brian says, PUA account is 0. Now what happens? Now we wait for Congress to pass this dang bill. Rose says, I'm thankful for anything we get. I am too. What's for lunch? Ravioli in a can from the dollar store. That is what's for lunch these days. Rika says, good morning. Marissa says, I got robbed on your account, $200. Call the Bank of America. I'm so sorry to hear that. Diane says, Anthony. Yes, Diane is answering Anthony's question for me. They will send the award letter by paper soon if they don't call and ask for it. Send them a letter. That's about him getting FedEd. Catherine says, I applied for unemployment like 2 months ago and still haven't got it. Can you please tell me what's going on? I have no idea what's going on with the EDD. They are inefficient. Please call them. I know that's kind of like a flippant answer. I don't mean to be flippant. That is a normal experience for people, but call them, let them know when you applied. They actually, I've heard people get through pretty easily on Sunday, and hopefully they can tell you why there's a delay, and hopefully they clear everything up for you very soon and you get paid soon. But yeah, you gotta call them and find out, because I don't know why. It's different for everyone, but I know that it's common, but each individual person's reason why it takes so long is different. Okay, Gustavo, I got your question. I hope you heard the answer, because I see it like every other question. Ben says, I wish it was retroactive. The damn $300 boost. My neighbor was royally pissed because he owes rent since September. Never seen him pissed either till recently. We're all struggling. So please be extra kind to people. Be extra patient. I know it's hard because we're all stressed too. Hopefully your neighbor will be eligible for rent relief. John Francis says, why it's hard for them to give us help while they build out the most rich companies. I don't know. JJ says, make sure to like the video. I sure appreciate it when you guys like the video. Leah says, thank you for keeping us posted all these months and staying positive. You become a hit on YouTube. I hope doors open up for you and we'll see you on TV. I don't know about all that. Although I did do a news article. So I was on the news the other day, I think up north in California. I don't know. I'll link it in a community post. Although I'm not opposed to a career in television, I suppose. I don't know. I'm enjoying YouTube, though. Being my own boss, because it's scary relying on someone else and then having them pull the rug out from under you. So I hope I do make it on YouTube. I don't consider myself a big success at all. Though, I mean, I'm glad I'm not, I don't know, whatever. I don't think about that. Judy says, do those on unemployment get the stimulus check? I believe so, but we haven't seen the final language. There has been some back and forth. That is something that they were negotiating. Michael says, I've been working for the past 4 years. That's messed up. I can't get FedEd. I would think you would qualify for FedEd, Michael. Why do you not qualify for FedEd? Because it's usually kind of tied into the work history. So I would think that you would qualify. In the last 12 months that they used for your base period, you didn't make more than 40 times your weekly benefit amount. Dev says, I'm on EB in Pennsylvania. 13 weeks are getting over on January 6th. Do I have to apply for Fed Ed? So Fed Ed is a program specific to California. That's what we call our EB program. I don't know why we call it another name. But hopefully they're going to add those weeks back of PEUC. And so by the time January 6th rolls around, hopefully you've got more weeks added through that program. Vanessa said, so many of us will go on Fed Ed on the 27th. Bill passes EDD will have to put us back onto PEUC. I don't see it playing out good at all. Same, Vanessa, same. I'm with you 100% on that. Jim says, thanks, you guys are welcome. Felicia says, I'm late. What's up? Not much. Nothing new with the stimulus, I'll tell you that much. Just talking about delaying the vote again, thanks to Senator what's-his-face in Oklahoma. Chili Bee says, do you know if there will be a threshold to receive $300? I don't know yet. They were debating that. Doug says at one time Kamala Harris wanted $2,000 a month stimulus. Yeah, and I think people like Bernie Sanders actually, even though he's like, I want $1,200. I think even you guys heard that the president started to say 2,000 and they were like, no, they're never going to agree to that. Don't push for 2,000. So they can't agree. They can't agree on it. 2,000 a month would have helped so much. And I hear in other countries, that's what they're getting. Sonny says, hello. We answered Gustavo's. Try and open a new claim, Gustavo. Try and quit asking the same question, Gustavo. Andy says they will give us 11 weeks of $300, but they will not give us the retroactive pay. How pathetic is that? As pathetic as you can possibly get. I want to say this, and this is just my opinion. Nancy Pelosi was fighting for a higher amount. And I know everybody's like, well, she didn't take the $1.9 trillion deal. But that hadn't passed in the Senate. And the Senate's always been the problem with the higher amount. So it wasn't just Nancy Pelosi. Like maybe she knew that it wouldn't pass in the Senate either. Like I think even if she would have signed on, I don't think that would have passed in the Senate anyway. So I think both sides are really to blame for all these delays. It's very pathetic that they're making us wait like this. We should know. Can you guys imagine, like, Heidi, can you, I mean, I guess sometimes things come up unexpectedly, but they've known about this deadline and it is so far in advance. And to make us wait like this is just it's not responsible. It's not professional. Like, I feel like if I had a deadline and I wasn't communicative about this to people, like I would be written up if I had a job still. I mean, I guess still technically I'm furloughed, but like this would not fly. You need to at least have a plan. Even if you're like, hey guys, don't worry, we have a plan. We just can't announce it until then. That would still calm people down. But to just be like, there's no plan yet. We're still talking about it. That's not acceptable. It's very pathetic. Debbie says, will they be extending PUA that had already expired on November 10th? So I believe so. But they'll probably just add the new weeks, and that would be starting, as far as I know, December 27th, hopefully not January 1st. Rich DM says, also, PUA and DUA, the same thing, Tier 1. Yes, PUA, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, and DUA, Disaster Unemployment Assistance? They have considered the pandemic a disaster. Typically, when you talk about DUA, you're talking about fires or floods or earthquakes or something like that. But PUA is a type of disaster, so it may be listed under DUA on your account, and that's normal. Kiwi Spirit says, threw those dreams away. I did. Oh my God. Is that how far back I am where I threw my vision board? Joel says, is it me or the Republicans cheaper and cheaper? They are, but supposedly they're looking out for the long-term good of the economy. There's pluses and minuses to it all. Diane, you're welcome, Diane. Tammy says, God bless. Catherine, are they not giving unemployment to people right now or something? They are, but a lot of people are already out of benefits. So they're at the mercy of the government. A lot, like I was talking earlier about Florida. Florida only gives 12 weeks of unemployment benefits initially, whereas California, that initial claim on a regular claim lasts 26 weeks. Then if you started it early enough, you got 13 weeks of PEUC. But Florida got 12 weeks of unemployment benefits and 13 weeks of PEUC for a total of 25 weeks. And now there's been nothing for them. Their unemployment rate isn't high enough for them to get EB. So there are a lot of people that are already out of benefits. And a lot of people, I know most of my employees ran out of PEUC. And when they went to certify today, they only were able to pay for 1 week. So a lot of people are coming to the end of their extensions and their benefits. And in other states, they've already been out of benefits. It's a mess. Gustavo, I'm skipping you because I answered your question. Call the EDD, see if you should open a new claim. Andrew, if we get put on Fed Ed because the EDD can't get that extra weeks put on in time, will we just be able to be kept on Fed Ed? I would think we wouldn't want to be kept on Fed Ed because why use up all those weeks when they may be potentially available past when these other programs expire? So for me, I want to go on PEUC because Fed Ed is the only thing, and EB, depending on your state, those are the only programs that aren't tied to any of these acts, but instead they're tied to a state's unemployment rate. And I do still think our unemployment rate is going to be really high for a long time. So I want to go on PEUC so that then if I'm still unemployed, after the next extension ends, then I could still be potentially eligible for more weeks of Fed Ed or EB, depending on your state. Dev says he's on EB in Pennsylvania. Do I have to apply for Fed Ed? Okay, we answered that, which is no. EB and Fed Ed are kind of the same thing, just called different things in different states. Stacy says, well, we miss out on the 600 if we're on unemployment. They were talking about that, but they're not anymore. Joel says we need $2,400 checks by this point. I agree. Patricia says all the people that had died due to COVID should cover stimulus. That's a terrible way to look at it. Gustavo says this would help me find out some info. I'm on the verge of being kicked out. Thank you. Okay, Gustavo, you got to call the unemployment office and ask if you can open a new claim or ask what they recommend you to do. Vincent Salas, I just applied for Fed Ed. How long does that take? It shouldn't skip a certification cycle, but for some people, they're saying it does take 3 weeks instead of just, our certification weeks, our cycles are 2 weeks here in California. Other states, they certify every week, but here in California, it's every 2 weeks. Some people are saying it takes 3 weeks for the Fed Ed extension to kick in, but then you would be able to certify for all 3 weeks. So there shouldn't, even though it may take you longer before you get to certify again, there shouldn't be gaps in weeks of payments. I hope that made sense. Okay. Andy says $600 to $700 stimulus unemployment should get that as well. It's crazy how they think it's easy to just give us that. Yes. Alex. Alex is yelling at Gustavo. Patricia says Social Security money. What about the Social Security money? You don't report that to unemployment. I think somebody followed up with me on that. You do not need to report your Social Security money to unemployment, but you might need to report unemployment money to Social Security. So please check with that. Todd said, I pray there's not a big time gap in the PUA payments. I do too. That's my holiday wish. So let's all put that in the universe. Let's just put it out there that the EDD is going to get it together and do what they need to do in order for there not to be gaps in employment. Vanessa says, I despise everything about our messed up government. Alex says, don't get snappy. Patricia says, RIP. There's a wizard, and I always get the wizard man. I get the wizard man. I get the woman and the man symbol confused. Gonzo Hazel says, I certified today, but on my page, it says I have to do it again the 26th. So that's good. It means you have at least one more week to certify. It's probably because all those programs are ending. I should have said that earlier. It's because all those programs are ending the 26th. So they're just bumping up when you certify. So next week you'll get paid for 1 week. Savvy says, was it $600 or $1,200? So it was $1,200 checks that first time around, but this time what they're talking about is $600 stimulus checks. Zuli, I like that name. My husband's balance was $372 last 2 weeks. He's supposed to certify today, but nothing on the screen to certify, just blank. Are they extended or what? He's self-employed limo driver. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what would be going on with that. Maybe give them a call. Sean says you need to call IRS if any changes to bank information, do it fast. So that's in regards to a question earlier in the stream about somebody getting the stimulus check, but they have changed their bank account number. And so Sean is giving advice saying to call the IRS if there's changes and to do it fast. So yeah, that's probably good information. I've never called the IRS, so I don't know how that goes, but yes. Oh my goodness. Okay. Uh-oh, I lost my spot again. Sorry, guys. I was trying to like take Gustavo's duplicate questions out. Okay. Because I answered it, and that distracts me. I always worry that people that really need the questions answered don't hear the answer. Like maybe you guys are like, I don't know what you guys do when you watch these chats. I know I babble on for a long time. So I always feel bad. Like if somebody asks the question a lot, like I worry that they missed the answer. And so then I answer it again, but then I don't get to the other questions that you guys have. So I don't quite know how to balance that. I was trying to look out for as many people as I can, but I did go ahead and I deleted Gustavo's messages because they were repetitive. And then he seemed like he was not being nice to a lot of you guys. I don't like to do that. Anyway, sorry. And Gustavo, I hope you understand. I hope you got your answer. Okay. Vanessa said FedEd can return to 20 weeks after the news is passed. Is it possible? I'm not sure. I don't quite understand why they weren't able to keep it at 20 weeks. I know. So normally FedEd is funded 50% by the states and 50% by the federal government. But because of how the CARES Act was written, it became 100% funded by the federal government through the CARES Act. And everything in the CARES Act expires 12/31. So I'm not sure how that's going to look after that. I guess it's possible, but I'm not sure. And if I had to guess one way or the other, I would say that it's not. Nobody seems to want to add back in more weeks for us. It seems to be like pulling teeth to get more weeks added. So I would say that it's unlikely that it's going back up to 20 weeks. Simon says, I certified today and it says my next certification is 1 week instead of it being 2. What does that mean? That's because that's the last day for like PUA and PEUC. So that's why they're having you certify again in 1 week. And then you'll be waiting to find out if this bill passes and they extend the weeks of PEUC or if potentially you'll be moved on to FedEd or EB. Lion says, what are the chances of getting accepted when filing for a new UI claim after exhausting all extensions? Your claim started in October. It really depends on if you had earnings in any of those quarters. Hang on, I gotta take a sip of coffee. It really depends on if you've had earnings in some of those quarters since you last applied. And if you're denied, normally you would be switched on to PUA. And since they are adding more weeks of PUA, so I think, and call the EDD to confirm this, that what you need to do is try and open a new claim. Then if you're denied for that claim, you'd be switched on to PUA. PUA currently ends December 26th, but we do expect that that bill will include additional weeks of PUA. So you might be able to get more weeks under PUA. And I do want to kind of mention to anybody in a similar situation that on PUA without wages, they look at the whole year of 2019. So it's possible that your benefit amount could change if you're switched from regular unemployment to PUA. Joel says, I wonder if this whole crisis will grant us 99 weeks, just like in the 08-09 recession. I kind of think it's going to have to. But it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out with the vaccine and hopefully businesses opening after they administer the vaccine and things like that. We're just going to have to wait and see. In my opinion, this is way worse, but it might just be that I'm a little bit older and so it's affecting me more and or differently. Chef Francisco Vlog says, I just got paid today on your last unemployment pay. Michelle says, I was confused with that 1 week left on the end of the year too. So usually we certify for 2 weeks, but since the program runs out of funds or like it ends the 26th, technically it ends the 31st. But again, that's that partial week scenario and they can't pay us on partial weeks. So what they're going to do is let us certify for just the 1 week. And I was actually wondering about that. So it looks like you guys are starting to report that you certified today, and then you'll certify again next week for 1 week. And then they'll, as long as the bill passes, my guess is that they'll reload your claim with however many weeks are written into the bill. CMM says, Heidi told me to tell Frank happy Christmas. CMM says, my FedEd just ended today. What should I file a new claim or wait? Call the EDD to get a recommendation. You're welcome, Patricia. If I could ask everybody to like the video, I'm going to go a little bit longer today because I'm kind of hoping that something pops up while we're on the chat regarding stimulus. But that senator in Oklahoma is going to hold things up. So I don't know. I'm going to go at least 10 more minutes. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your questions. If you guys do have a question, the best way to get a hold of me is really to join these chats. I do them 11 a.m. every Sunday, and be early on the chats with your question. Okay. So many questions are answered here that sometimes I just keep the stream on and listen. You are welcome, Andrew. Liz, how long will the extra $300 a week last? We don't know yet. I've heard everywhere from as little as 10 weeks, and they were talking about 16 weeks, but I haven't heard that talked about in a long time. I think the most I've heard recently is 13 weeks, so we don't know. Hector says, do I have to report my utility grant to the EDD? You don't normally have to report grants. I have gotten a couple of grants. I worked at a movie theater, got the movie theater grant. This is actually the second grant they've given movie theater employees. I have not reported those, but I'm not a professional, but I don't think you report grants. Like, you don't report grants on your taxes either. Grants are just like free money as far as I know, but I'm not a tax professional either. Michelle says, the actually cute, ugly sweater. I always thought to wear one. Yeah, I love it. I really love it. For a while, polar bears, bats have always been my favorite animal, but a close second is probably the polar bear. Okay. Catherine says, I received an unemployment prepaid card in the mail, but it has zero balance on it. I do not know why that is. So please call both probably the number on the back of the card and whoever your unemployment office is. I'm guessing, Catherine, that you're not in California, because in California, we don't get prepaid cards in the mail. We do get a Bank of America EDD debit card, but like they kind of load it. It's not exactly a prepaid card. Thank you, Patricia. Chef Francisco. Actually, they're talking though about as few as 10 or 11 weeks now. Debbie H. Do you have a question, Debbie H? Okay, John Francis, asking all you guys prayer that before tomorrow this bill will be passed the House and Senate and soon and be signed by President Trump. Yes. I don't know, like, when you guys pray or who you guys pray to, or if you believe or if you don't believe, but whatever you do, let's just send it out into the universe that they get this done and that it's generous tonight before you go to bed. And hopefully tonight before we go to bed, they will have made a decision. JJ saying 10 weeks. I'm still hoping for more. What is that? Rich DM gave me some funny emojis. One looks like broccoli. Oh no, it's a kimono. A happy kimono. I don't get it. Anyway, whatever. A kimono that looked like broccoli. Okay, Joseph says, honestly, so many hardworking people are going to be unable to pay taxes or these overpayment paybacks, no matter what a mess. I agree. Vanessa says, I'm so broke, so broke, but rich and family. Oh, see, yeah, that's good. So don't worry about the money. I'm glad that you're rich and family love. See, and you're not a loser. Like, you're a winner. So there's a lot of people that don't get along with their family. I read a story last night about two girls. They're in a lesbian relationship and they can't move home because their parents don't approve of the relationship. Like, they're adults, but they've been evicted and they don't have anywhere to go. And their friends don't want to let them in because of COVID right now, because it's too dangerous. And like, that's just so sad. So I'm so happy that you have family and you're not a loser. Okay, Vero. I don't know. I got my last payment today for 1 week. My claim expires in March 2021, but now there's a message saying that the maximum benefit pays. Does that mean I won't get FedEd, but I get 20 weeks or 13 weeks? So that's a lot to unpack in that question. So you just used your 13th week of PEUC. And so now you're waiting on two things. One, you're waiting to see if Congress extends the number of weeks you can get PEUC benefits. And two, you're waiting to see if you qualify for FedEd. Fed Ed definitely only lasts 13 more weeks as of right now. And guys, I do have to say that although I think unemployment will be high for a really long time here in California, if our unemployment rate dropped below, it's roughly 6%. It's like a big old calculation, but I'm going to just say roughly 6%. That's when we need to start watching. If it dips below 6% for 4 weeks in a row, the Fed Ed program would end. But right now it's 13 weeks. That's as of right now, since nothing has passed, that's your next step, Vero, is to see if you qualify for Fed Ed. And if not, we're hoping that they add more weeks of PEUC. Sean Essie? Yes. I agree. I'm not even sure what we're agreeing about now. You should keep it if it makes you happy. The sweater does make me happy. How do you know all this dorky stuff makes me happy? The sweater makes me happy. Joseph says, thanks for all you do, not being grim. I got a little grim a couple of times during this, but it is what it is. Okay, Brian says my PUA is at $0. So Brian, we're waiting on them to hopefully extend that PUA program. Patricia says, right on. Michelle says, that's the problem with the wealthy. They don't want the majority of people to live well. You guys, one day, I really do. I hope to be wealthy, and I do want everybody to live well. I want to teach everybody how, hopefully, to do it, even if you come from a limited income background. Roberto says, even though I have zero balance, I'm getting PEUC extension. Roberto, only if you're on a regular unemployment claim, and then right now, PEUC expires next week. So yeah, and all the extensions, your balance has to hit 0 before they move on to the next step. Nadir says, how will refiling process go for PUA? I don't know yet. Hopefully they just add on the weeks. Michelle says, sending you love. Yes, and let's send all these politicians love and hope and kindness, that they show us some kindness. Andy says, it sucks that we won't get retroactive pay. It does. It also sucks that we only get $600. It does. The only positive thing is that they pass the bill tonight. If not, we really won't get poop emoji. There is some talk that it's not going to pass tonight, that they're going to have to do continued resolutions, and that they might not vote on this till Monday. Andrea says it's so sad what we're going through. It is. JJ gave me a heart and a thumbs up. Praying for Mama. Oh, thank you. She's mostly well, but like she's never liked doctors, and she has a really hard time, and she's allergic to everything. And then they don't believe her. Like for pain, she can't take Vicodin. She can't take any of that stuff. Like she's really sensitive to sulfur, which is like, it's kind of like the ingredient that makes the pills stick together. And it's such a small amount. It's a binder, I guess it's called, like that literally makes the pills stick together. That's what she's allergic to. And there's such a small percentage of it in there that they don't even legally have to list it. But she's so allergic, like she's just sensitive to it, and she has a lot of trouble. And then she has a lot of mental health issues in her history. And so then doctors are just like, oh, you're just crazy. You're just making that up. And then like she has some sort of terrible, crazy reaction. And then they're like, oh, we believe you now. But it's just been a mess with her. So I would love to have the money to just buy her the best doctor and find her one that she likes that will listen to her. And hopefully that's closer, because right now I live kind of in West LA. My mom lives in like the Covina area, and her doctor is out in Loma Linda, which is in Riverside County. So that is a trek for me, and I take her to the doctor. Okay, sorry, rambling again. Rylan says, mini players for everyone. I don't know what that means. Jennifer says, we love and appreciate. Oh, you guys are welcome. Shawnesse said, Shawnesse? I figured that was like 2 names. Anyway, I think you guys are all lovely and worthy people as well. Okay. Conzo Hazel says, sorry. Don't worry. Liz says, sending you hugs. Yes, it is. Oh my God, I'm so far behind. Thank you. April says, my PUC ended 2 weeks ago, and I got my letter from EDD extending me for next week. Just for 1 week? That's so weird. Extending you for next week. Okay. Well, any extension is good. Diane says, thank you. Tina says, is it true that people on unemployment won't get $600? It's true that they were thinking about that, but they haven't been talking about that in a while. So I think that we are going to get it. Logistically, it would just be too hard not to give it to people on unemployment. India says, if my PUA reaches 46 weeks, will there be an extension? I don't know yet. I do expect that it will be extended, but we're waiting to find out. Thank you, Andrea. Southern Girl the Real One says, hello, Shelly. I have 5 weeks left on my PEUC after the 31st of 2020. Will I have any lapse in my benefits? And if so, how long of a lapse? So first of all, that Southern Girl, that balance is going to probably be pretty much inaccessible or forfeited after the 26th of this month, even if the claim balance would take you past that. So then we're waiting, of course, to see if Congress passes the bill. If they do, it might take them some time to add on those additional weeks of PEUC. If they don't, your next step would be to see if you qualify for EB or Fed ED, and there could be gaps in when you get benefits, but when you can certify again, you should be able to certify the week starting the 27th. Alex and Gustavo made up. Crystal says, yes, it's possible to get financial freedom. I've always said I want to be rich, but not famous. Yes. Tracy, I try to be an awesome daughter, but sometimes I snap at my mom. She can't hear. She is having trouble seeing. Sometimes she drives me crazy, but I love her. Denise says, still waiting on her payment for PUA in Missouri. Call them and find out why. Makito says, thank you. Yes. Thank you for the wishes for my mom. Andrew says, well, with all this bad stuff going on, love prevails and it's evident here, just like in the Rihanna song. We found love in a hopeless place. Aw. I'm not going to sing. I see that that's written in song form, but I won't be singing. Tell me about EB. I start that this week. So it'll be your same weekly benefit amount. Depending on what state you're in, determines how long your EB lasts. Here in California, and most states that have EB, it is 13 weeks. There are some states, it's very few of them, that only offer 7 weeks of EB, but you definitely have some more weeks, and then most likely more weeks once they pass this bill. Michael says, I don't know, Michael. You got to call them because that seems weird to me as well, that you don't qualify. Do you make 40 times your weekly benefit amount in the 12 months that they use to calculate your benefits? The only way you wouldn't is if you had like one quarter that was really, really high, I think, and then the rest were really low. If you've been working consistently, I would think that you would qualify. Are you in California? Like, I don't get it either. So call them and ask them. If you believe that they've made an error calculating whether you were eligible or not, you can appeal that decision, and you should get that in the mail with the FedEd denial letter. Joseph says, I have a life-threatening illness and crap health care. My prayers truly go out to you and your mom. It's so hard when you struggle just to eat and pay basic bills. That is true. And thank you. And I'm sorry. I hope you get your health issues addressed properly by a good doctor. Liz says, how many weeks are we getting the extra 300? We don't know yet. The most current I've heard, so recently it was like 12 to 13, which was down from 16. Then I had heard 10, but then I heard 11 to 12. So it's right now somewhere between 11 and 13 weeks, but we don't know for sure yet. Vanessa says, Shelly, when people are on unemployment for 99 weeks, do they ever need to ask for earnings again at some point in the 99 weeks? I'm not sure on that. I don't think so. I think they just kept extending it. Someone that actually got it, they did tell me, though, that there were gaps and hoops to jump through, and that it wasn't exactly like they got it 99 weeks really smooth and consistently. But I don't think they required additional earnings in that. Patty says, oh, no, Andy, I skipped his. I got 18 weeks left. Hopefully we get paid this 300 soon, because by the look of it, we won't get money till mid-January. Andy, I just want to remind you that they are going to adjust any weeks of Fed Ed down to make it so that you can only collect 13 weeks. So I just want to caution you that you might not have 18 weeks left. They are going to be adjusting that claim balance after next week. So be careful on that. Patty says, how long will it take us before we see the 300 unemployment boost in our checks? Thank you for all I do. Well, thank all of you guys. And I'm going to ask you guys to like the video because I haven't done that in a while. We don't know how long it'll take. It could take between 3 and 7 weeks before they get all of that worked out. But I am hearing a date of December 27th. Someone said that they are still hearing January 1st, and that's a partial week. They can't pay partial weeks. So if the bill is written to start January 1st, we're probably not actually going to see that boost until the week starting January 3rd, which would be the full week of unemployment benefits. But it may take a while to get everything up and running. So it could be another 3 to 7 weeks after next week before we see that extra amount. Now, in that sense, it would be retroactive to whenever the bill starts. Like if it's just like once they put in writing when it starts, that's when it starts. And if our unemployment offices don't get it up and running in time, then it would be retroactive to whenever the bill start date is. I hope that made sense. So it could take a little while before we start to see that boost. Liz says, thank you, Chef Frank. CMM says, my Fed Ed is at zero balance as of today. What should I do next? Call the EDD and get their advice. I think they're going to tell you to try and open a new claim. If you don't have enough money to open a new claim, then they will see, right now PUA ends next week, but if they do extend that, then you would potentially be eligible to go on to PUA. Joe says, I already ran out of PEUC, so now on my certification notice telling me to certify on December 27th, but it's not showing me any balance. That's really weird, and I'm not sure why. Check back on the 27th and see what it says next week. Hopefully, maybe they put you on Fed Ed. Andrew says, my uncle died from COVID. He was 74. The best scenario is that this pandemic ends, and I pray it shall. I'm sorry that you lost your uncle, and yeah, I'm really hoping that the cases start to come down and that we don't lose any more life because of this. Aria says, is there PUA extension in this new bill they're about to vote? Yes, there is, but we don't know how many weeks yet. And it hasn't passed. I guess I should mention that too. It's still entirely possible that somebody's going to read something in there that they don't like and that they vote against it and that it won't pass. But as long as it passes, there is an extension somewhere between 10 and 13 weeks. Alex says they'll pass something they have to. Chef Frank, they are saying that they might not vote on it until Monday because of they want the bill is in pieces. It's not all in one place. It's not written out entirely. They are working, and as there are updates, like the people that take care of that are updating it as changes are made, but they need to still get it all typed up, have I think lawyers look at it before it's put on the floor to be voted on, and all that takes time. Double dip, that's bullcrap. Yes. Annette, when the stimulus package passes, will they extend Fed Ed back to 20 weeks in California? I don't see them doing that, but again, I don't quite understand why they kept it anyway, because it seems to me, right, that even if the CARES Act means that it was 100% funded by the federal government right now, whereas when usually it's funded 50% by the state and 50% of the federal government, that once the CARES Act expires December 31st, it seems like they could just go back to the way it was and still give us those extra 7 weeks on Fed Ed. So I don't know, but I know that it seems like nobody wants to give us more weeks. So I don't think they're going to bump it back up to 20. But I think if you're on Fed Ed, that they would put you back on PEUC and give you more weeks under that. But I guess I don't know. So we're going to have to wait and see. Cami says, I exhaust my benefits today, and he's set to reopen another claim after the first of the year. If they pass 300, will I have to reopen a new claim? That's the first I'm hearing of it, but it looks like you called and spoke with somebody official, so I don't know. I hope that they don't make everybody open a new claim. JJ says they sure don't care when we dip for their donors. That is true. Aria says, thank you to Chef Francisco. He says, you're welcome. Black Jade says, hi, Shelly. I received my grant. DWP check yesterday. Thank you much for the video, letting us know. Love you. I'm so happy. See, again, smiles. When even one person tells me that one of the videos that I made helped them get more money, that's what makes me happy. So I'm sorry when sometimes I make them and they don't apply to you, but when they do and you get that money, that makes my day. Andrew says, is it possible to get this thing on that this thing can fail? Yes, it is. Then what? Wait until after January 20th when Biden is officially in the White House. Yeah, or maybe after the runoff election in Georgia, maybe like Mitch McConnell would know, like, okay, I'm about to lose it. Let's just get something through. Do you think Joe Biden will help us more, especially if Mad Mitch loses control of the Senate? So it's easier to pass things if all three branches, or I don't think there's a three branches. If Congress, if the House, the Senate, and the presidency are all held by Democrats, it's easier to pass legislation. If Democrats don't take control of the Senate after the Georgia runoff election, it's still going to be difficult to pass things. And corporations in the stock market are happy about the possibility of that not happen, of Democrats not winning the Georgia runoff. So I don't know. I think it's still going to be hard to get things to pass. Lost my place again. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to figure out where I am on these questions, and then I'm going to sign off, and I'll be watching the news like a hawk today and hopefully making a video. If something actually happens, I'll probably make one even if we have the specific language and I'll do my interpretation of it, and it's possible. Like, I guess it just dawned on me that maybe somebody on Fed Ed wouldn't get extra weeks on PEUC. Maybe they're going to want it to end for everyone. But I think they're going to have to give us extra weeks of PEUC, even if we're already on Fed Ed. But then right now on this chat, I was like, our government's kind of shady, and it seems like they're looking for ways to give us less money. So I won't swear that they're going to switch everybody from Fed Ed back to PEUC. It would seem that they should, but I don't know for sure. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that language in that bill. Michelle says people like Bezos or Gates may pay for it, but they won't. That would be nice. Andy says, Republicans caring about what future? If we don't do anything now, then we won't have a future. So many people are homeless. California lost 25% of its population and moved to Texas because Cali is expensive. Yeah, people are moving out really, really alarming rates. Like every YouTube video I see from all the finance YouTubers is like, why I'm leaving California? Why I'm leaving California? Kevin made one that said that, but then he's not really leaving California. Okay. At least not yet. He wants to, but the wife Lauren doesn't. Okay. Sean says government spends $750 billion on military heist ever, but do nothing for us. But they care about the deficit. That's a joke. Yeah, that's the common argument to that, but that's their claim on why they don't want to give us more. Benjamin says PUA verification income documents. How long does it take for them to respond? I haven't heard of anybody responding yet to that, although there was an article saying that the EDD was going to collect overpayments. It didn't say starting when. It didn't say if communication had been sent out. I may read that article in detail and try and make a video about that as well later today. Lion says, what are the chances of getting accepted when applying for a new UI claim? It just depends on if you have the earnings or not. So apply, and if you're denied, then they put you on PUA, which hopefully we'll be getting more weeks soon. Robin says, automatically extended per EDD if they pass the bill. We will not have to do anything if they pass the bill. Just spoke to the EDD. That is great news, Robin. Thank you for calling, and I'm glad you got through. Liz says 600 stimulus doesn't even pay for half of people's rent. That's correct, but there should be rental assistance in this bill too. So I will keep my eye on that as well. Shakisha says, it's time to go back to work. But what about people that have kids at home? Like if you leave your kids at home because they're on virtual learning, social services, depending on the age of those kids, is going to come and take your kids away from you. So it's not a viable option for everybody. It's just not. People with kids at home where they're a single parent, they can't just leave the kids to go to work, and COVID cases are high. Like it's a risk to go to work. And I'm so thankful to everybody that works at a grocery store or a gas station. And of course, our nurses and doctors that they've gone to work through all of this. Okay. I just lost my place again. I'm going to do Yusuf's question because he's a member. Where'd it go? Oh dear. I want to do Yusuf's question, and his is going to be the last one for today. I lost it though. Where did it go? Oh my goodness. Thank you guys for everybody with the Christmas wishes. I hope you guys have a great holiday. I lost my place. Oh. Oh dear, I'm really far behind. I'm sorry how far behind I run. It's because I try and answer the questions thoroughly instead of rushing through them, but then that also means that I get through less questions. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Joe Magna got my attention because he has a lot of hands with stop signs. So I'm going to do his and then find my member question. And then that'll be the end. So Joe says my PEUC ran out. So now it's saying to certify on December 27th. There's no money balance showing. I don't know why that is. Hopefully that means that you qualify for Fed Ed and that when you go back on the 27th, you'll have weeks to certify. Or maybe the EDD is actually trying to prepare in advance for what might happen going forward. Oh my goodness, I wish that there was a way to search by user because I can't even scroll up. I've got so far behind. I can't even. Okay. I missed Yusuf's question and he's a member. I like to try and get to those member questions. Membership is $1.99. I know nobody has the money to do that. It does help your question stand out, although I lost Yusuf's question, but I could see that it was a member question. Let's see if he asked it again. Sorry, everybody. This is always how these ends with me digging around trying to find some question. Someone sent me a scary clown cat photo. Thank you, everybody. Leonardo's wishing everyone well. Oh. Uh-oh. Queen Bee. I like her. She's not a member, but she always comments on my videos. She has a question. I only see that she's saying, can somebody answer my question? Let's try and do your question, Queen Bee. Let's ask yours again because I can't find Yusuf's. Yusuf, if you're still on, you guys, as Queen Bee and Yusuf, ask your questions again, and I will try and get to those two and then end the chat. So I'll answer a few more questions while I'm waiting to see if either Queen Bee or Yusuf asked their question again, and then I'll sign off for the day and hopefully have more information for you guys later. Leonardo says, come to Ohio. Carrie. Oh, Leonardo says it's all good, Shelly. Leonardo, were you able to help Queen Bee with her question? Because I noticed that she said, Leonardo, can you answer my question? Oh, there's Queen Bee. Shelly, I ran out of PUA on the 8th with a balance of $5,165. Will that disappear or do I need to take my money off the card? Okay, so if the money's already on your EDD debit card, first of all, guys, don't leave money on that card once it's loaded. If the money is loaded onto your debit card already, transfer it into your regular bank or pull it out of your bank or whatever. That balance won't disappear though. It's just not, those debit cards are always getting compromised. If you're talking about when you log on to UI online, you see a claim balance, that will disappear. It's not accessible. It may not disappear even as they add more weeks on, but you won't have access to that after. And it's strange that you ran out on the 8th and it still had a balance because I thought it would carry people through. I thought it would carry most people either through this week if they backdated all the way till February 2nd, or I thought it would carry them all the way through next week if they did that any other time. So Queen Bee, it's either going to disappear or you won't have access to it, but hopefully once the bill passes, they're going to add more weeks on that you can certify. But at some point, like the balance will be higher than the number of weeks you can certify. Is Yusuf still in here? Andy, you say, thank you, Shelly. I hope we don't get 13 weeks. I hope we do because that's on the higher end of what I've heard them talk about. I'm going to wait a few more minutes to see if Yusuf pops back in with his question again. So I'll answer a few more while I give Yusuf some time. Yusuf, I know you're a member and I missed your question, so that makes me feel awful. I really would like to get to your question. So we'll give it a minute, see if Yusuf pops in. So I'm going to just do random ones. Bree says if PUA expires the 26th and they start the new, lost my place, and they start the new $300 boost on January 1st, what happens to our leftover balance? It would essentially be forfeited. Yeah, it would essentially be forfeited, and then they would put like a fresh number of weeks in there, I think. Or they'll add it to the claim balance, but then, like, let's say that your claim balance is $1,000 right now or on the 26th after you certify. And then they add another 10 weeks. Then you'd have the 1,000 plus whatever the 10 weeks were. But the 10 weeks are still going to be over in 10 weeks. And then at the end of those 10 weeks, you'd still have that $1,000 balance, which at that time would be forfeited. Yusuf hasn't popped in yet. Yusuf, if you're here, I missed your question, but I want to answer it since you're a member. Patty, you're welcome. Miguel says, I go on UI online and it says file a new claim or managing an existing claim. I'm on PUA. So if you're on PUA, you can't really open a new claim yet. You can't open a new claim until your benefit year is over. So yes. Oops, Brian, it's on their card. Yeah, if it's already loaded onto the card, you're fine. Queen Bee, we don't know yet if you're going to have to reapply for PUA. I would think that they're going to just load up more weeks, but I don't know for sure yet. Any word on those who have already exhausted EB? Will we go back on PEUC? I think so, but I'm not sure. Okay, we're doing Brian's question, and then that's going to be the last one. Okay, it says, yay, once they pay you out, no matter what card you use, it's yours, but take it if their card anyways, because their system is so wishy-washy. Yeah, so once it's on the card, the money is yours. That's correct. If you just see it on your UI online account, then that's when you wouldn't have access to it. But if it's already on your card, that money's yours, but I do recommend transferring it into your regular bank and off of those cards because of how much fraud and theft has been going on. I actually want to do Anastasia's, and then that's really going to be it. Okay. How do you know when your PUA extension is over? So right now, PUA ends for everybody December 26th, and they'll certify December 27th unless Congress votes to extend it. So we won't know so PUA ends and the PEUC extension currently end 12/26. And so that's how you know when that's over, because that's the date the program ends. But we're waiting to find out from Congress how many more weeks they're going to give us. All right, everybody. Leonardo is sending out some good vibes. Good vibes to all of you. If you haven't already liked the video, I appreciate you guys so much. This is the last live before the holidays. So I hope you guys have a great, safe holiday. Please stay healthy. Be careful. I wish you guys the best. I wish the most generous stimulus package possible. And, oh, Frankie says, can somebody answer my question? Frankie, all right, hold on. We'll answer Frankie's and then that's it. Why does my claim balance say 0 but tells me to come back and certify for more weeks if I exhausted my PEUC? I'm confused. I'm not sure about that. It could be one of two things. It could be that the EDD is already prepping their system for in case they make, in case they extend the PEUC program. Maybe they're finally getting their act together in advance for once, and maybe they're preparing for that. Otherwise, maybe they already know that you qualify for Fed Ed, and maybe you'll be able to certify for that next week. So just go on next week, and if there's money there and you thought it was going to be over this week, then that's a good thing, right? But as to the exact why it says to come back if your claim balance is 0, I'm not sure on that. You can try calling the EDD. And VV wants to know, did the 300 pass? It has not passed yet. They're expected to either vote on it later today or tomorrow morning. All right, that's it for me, guys. Thanks so much for watching Shelly's Millions. I will see you next time. Fingers crossed that you guys see another video from me today, because that would mean that the language of the bill came out and or possibly it passed. So again, have a great, safe holiday. I appreciate you guys very much, and I'll see you next time. Uh-oh. No, can't figure out how to end this because my whole little screen ended.